We're gone for all money in 1978, 79.
78 was a bit of a battle, there was no doubt. They were struggling as far as, I think, financially.
Through an administrative decision which reflected how much Williamstown itself meant to the VFA, they were plucked from, I think, 7th in second division into first division.
From memory, when we went up, we didn't do too bad. We won a few games. We weren't a standout team, but we held our own against most teams.
The people of Williamstown, whilst being very supportive, are also, because it's such a small village, very critical. And depending on which hotel you were in, the situation was either dire or not too bad. And so then personalities got involved, and one of the strongest personalities I've ever met in Williamstown or anywhere was Merv Hobbs.
And he was always back at the club when we were in trouble. 82 we were broke. He organised a raffle with Gracie Smith. There was a car. Percentage of tickets we sold paid our wages for that year. Hobbsy, a lot of respect for Hobbsy.
The club had done as well as it could. It had come from second division in 1980, struggled along. Rod Oborne had a huge task, but Hobbsy was a very highly motivated person, and he was good to have around.
And I was lucky enough to play under John Kennedy for quite a few years at North Melbourne, so I can guarantee you that Hobbsy was 5 times harder trainer than John Kennedy.
And so they got the local businessmen in supporting the club, and they used to meet quite regularly, and all of a sudden their club started to get a bit more professional. We got some more ex-AFL players into the club, which supported us. And you could just see the change from when I first started as a kid to how professional it had sort of become.
In hindsight now, with the VFA doing that for the Williamstown Football Club, it really probably is the foundation that was laid for what the club's been able to achieve these days, going through the 80s into the 90s and to where it stands now as a really viable standalone club in the competition.
My grandfather played in the 30s and 40s. Used to go as a boy to watch, Willie, and as a kid, he'd play footy at Spotty in the juniors, and then the Sundays we'd always head down to Willie to watch the home game. So it's been a big part of my life. I was born and bred in Williamstown, and certainly with the grandfather's connection, that was always going to be my dream or ultimate, to play footy for Willie.
It was like a country town, and anyone that played footy always wanted to play for Williamstown. State school, you got a season's ticket. As a kid, you could go. A few of us knew where the holes were in the fence. Yeah, it was the meeting point, really, in the 70s.
We had a butcher shop in Thompson Street, and every Sunday, Williamstown Football Ground was where we used to go. My nana, my mum, me, the old man, sister, come down and watch Willie play on a Sunday afternoon.
My first year was 1979 in the under-19s. We actually won the grand final that year. We beat Werribee, blasted them off the park, so it was a good win. I actually played the latter half of the year. I played in the reserves, and probably should have played senior footy then, but I was only 16, and my first reserves game I kicked 8 goals, so I thought I would have been just pumped up the seniors the next week, but that didn't happen, so I just played the rest of the year in the reserves, and then we played a finals game there in the reserves, and then the under-19s was still in the final, so I went back and carried them over the line in the grand final.
They had tough players there, Jeff Beebens and Greg Tweedleys and these sort of guys, Alan Kennedy's, that really went hard at the ball, and it was a bit of an eye-opener for me, and I was only a young guy, and I thought, gee, this is a full-on game.
Alan Kennedy was playing for Williamstown then, and I said, I went for a job interview with Alan, and I thought, he plays for Williamstown, and I was always thinking, I'll have to go to Yarraville and play footy at Yarraville, and I said that to him. And he said, the only way you'll get a job with me is if you come and play for Williamstown.
And I always remember my first training run. I arrived a little bit late, walked in there, getting changed, the rest of the guys were out on the track, and a gentleman by the name of John Hogg walked in, broom in hand, and said, what's your name? So I informed him. And where are you from? I told him. What position do you play? And I said, I'm a rover. He goes, that's it. We don't need any more fucking rovers down here. We've got enough fucking rovers to last us a lifetime, you know. We need big blokes. We need big blokes, he kept saying. I said, oh, well, welcome to Williamstown.
I had Williamstown, Werribee and Coburg knocking on the door. I went and trained at Werribee, too far. Went to Coburg, went there, trained, went on their run and did a few other things. I was just about to leave and I heard someone say, did anyone see Mark Fotheringham today? Because they'd rang me to say, come to train it. I'd never had great games at Williamstown, playing at Williamstown. So one's too far, no one's showing much interest, and the other one's too hard to play at. So.
I wanted to do, growing up, is playing that big ground near the water on the beach there. I go, oh, wouldn't that be a nice place to play footy?
The day I signed on the dotted line to play at Williamstown, it was a beautiful balmy day and the able Tasman just cruised on by, and I thought, this is just a slice of heaven. First night of training, there was sleet coming in at 90 degrees and I thought, what the bloody hell am I doing here?
As a 21-year-old, you're thinking, like, have I made the right decision? And you know, after a couple of weeks, you know, you could see the talent was around and that the club was going places.
And there was Kevin Hughes, Lindsay Carl, Rob DiMartino and myself. So we went to the meeting and Wills met Terry Wheeler and spoke about where he's heading in the direction of the footy club, and you know, you guys have been successful at Spotswood, and you know, we wanted to stay together. And Kevin had already been at Williamstown, and we said, yeah, let's do this, and we decided to come in '85, and it's probably the best thing we've done.
Coming from Spotswood Football Club, to me they were larger than life sort of characters, you know. Then they'd come back and they'd be revered, I think, in the spotty circles, and they would be sort of more respected. I felt, but that's looking at it as a junior, and so I'm talking about I was maybe under 13s and under 15s, and you know they jog a couple of laps and we'd follow them. Paul John, for example, you know, but I used to look at him and say, what an athlete.
We played Sunshine at Skinner Reserve, and there was a policeman playing for us called Neil Coates. He coat-angered one of their little players, and next minute we turn around and here's Ricky McLean chasing around the ground like company capers. The umpire didn't want a bar of it.
There was a lot of fisticuffs, and as a kid you'd go there and you'd like to watch that, and it was a really good standard.
We played Frankston in the first game, and who do I play on? I play on Alan Harper, who knocked out Freddie Cook in that before the grand final a few years before that. I've kicked 3 on him at quarter time, and he's tapped me on the shoulder as we were walking off to the huddles, and he said, listen here son, if you kick another goal I'm going to break your jaw. Well, I've got a mouth guard on, so that's some chance. I kicked 9 and he didn't break my jaw, and that's how I went from there.
If someone got whacked down the ground, someone would turn around and whack you.
I played my first senior game, I played against Coburg. And who did I line up against was Phil Cleary. I went up to shake his hand, and I thought, oh yeah, he'll reciprocate, and he didn't reciprocate. He said, come near me and I'll knock your fucking head off.
I got there and enjoyed the fact that I was playing a man's game, and you needed to be tough, you needed to stand up, or there was no place to hide.
The best part about it back in the day was, I thought, was after the game, whatever went on the ground, the other team would come into the rooms to have a beer with you.
You know, Ports against Willie, the Coburgs, the Sandys, it was just territorial, where you just gone in as one group and it's just us against them, and we just had to do what we had to do to win this game.
It was a family. I mean, I had a lot of my family there, but the club itself was an actual family, and I think Wheels had kind of developed it that way and brought players into that I guess environment that would suit that environment. And I think that was a special time. And I look back now and I know that even when I catch up with past players, there's that connection. There's a connection there that can't be broken.
It changed my life, because I came here to play 1 year to see what it was like, and bought a house 12 months later and I'm still in it.
When you get good players around you to fit in, you know, you had to fire it. And that was probably one of the things that really inspired me to be part of the Willie Football Club, was just that I could sense there was a buy-in and there was something at the end of it.
Everything I expected it to be. It was fantastic, and yeah, I loved every minute of it being down there.
We all played together, we socialised together, and we're all around the same age, a lot of us. You know, so we come through, we weren't married, you know, we had girlfriends, but could have had a different one the next weekend, who knows what was going on. But just all us hanging around together, become really good mates. We sort of probably on the ground we really busted our butt for each other.
Third of my teammates during those 80s, they rock up to my 60th. I don't know what you call it. It's not pretentious, it's not manufactured. They're there just to enjoy an opportunity, enjoy some time with a bloke that they played footy with. That's the spirit of this club.
I really thank all my teammates because they helped me through getting to where I was and where I played. 2 premierships, played in 3 grand finals. So for that, you couldn't ask for any more.
I never thought I deserved a game. I always worked hard, and I think that was the thing about Williamstown. You played on your merits. There's no favouritism, and it was just a good place to be around.
I didn't think I was ever good enough to play with Willie. When I first got my Guernsey, it was number 31. It had all been ripped down the front and sewn together, so the sash was offline. The 3 and the 1 on the back were out of line, and I played in that Guernsey. It was an honour to wear it. I lived in the town. I realised what the club meant to the town. I'm just grateful that I have been a small part of its history and helped it continue to exist.
Be a part of this fabulous club. It's been around for over 150 years. It just makes me feel proud to just be associated. All the other stuff's a bonus, but just to be a part of it all is what Williamstown's about.